I should do it public. Stupid thing. Monica, can you hear me okay? There she is. I am so sorry. Um, I'm working on OBS on my laptop, and I was streaming and I didn't even know. Uh, how you doing? I have Monica, another Mon. I have a Susan, a Denise, a Cami, Lavetti. So I sound okay. I'm sorry I'm streaming so late. I'm really trying to figure it out how to do it on my laptop so I don't have problems like I did last time. And I don't know what you all saw. I'm getting mad at my computer. Hi, Nana from Las Vegas. I have someone from Louisiana here. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I was streaming and I didn't even know. That's just my life. Okay, the video's good. I'm trying to set it up on my laptop, and the program doesn't have the record button. So for 2 hours, I'm trying to find the record button. And it just started recording without me even knowing. Nice to see you guys from Boston, Ohio. We have Kansas, Miss Courtney. We have Darlene from South Carolina. I hope you guys are doing okay. I saw comments all of a sudden, and I'm like, what the hell's happening? So I found the record button finally and said, I better go on here and say I'm sorry. From Indiana, we have someone from Michigan, Sandra. I'm so sorry. It's so late. Well, I go to bed at 2 or 3, so this is my lunch time. Please forgive me. Does the audio sound okay? If not, I could lower it. Okay, does it sound better or is it too low? You're working? Well, I guess I'm working too for YouTube land. Oh my God. No, so earlier I was like, damn thing. What the hell? So forgive me. I'm supposed to be nice and proper. Yeah, no. I wanted to edit a couple videos, but I've been doing Groundhog's Day. Let me see if I could show you that quilt down there. I've been doing another Lone Star quilt, and it's just been, wow, torture. So when I was trying to download the footage into the laptop, my laptop said it didn't have enough space. I just didn't have the energy to fight with it like I am now. Have y'all ever tried this? Butter. Pumpkin body butter. Hello, Amelia from Victoria, Texas. You do? Okay. This is usually. This is when you long arm, Diana? Yes. Bring me a lollipop. Bring a lollipop offering. My daughter's gonna go walk down the street. One of my daughters bought a house like in my neighborhood, and literally she lives 5 houses down from my house. I love it. And they have candy over there, and chubby girl goes get some. Nice to see you, meet you, Jennifer from Minnesota. I had the event for the Sweet Honeybee, and I'm trying to figure out how to do live streaming while I do the event. We'll see. I figured out how to work a projector too. Diana, why did you retract your message? Oh, body butter. Let me see. Body butter. I love this stuff. I don't know if y'all have a Trader Joe's in your neighborhood. $5. What is a QBOT? Oh, what is a QBOT, Sandra? Ah, you guys long arm at night. I would long arm, but then I have to be in the back, like building in my house. So it's like, maybe not. And so I ham bind, I watch Netflix, and I have the remote control. I got the wand for the night. I get to watch what I want. Because usually my husband gets the remote control all day long when he's home. So look, body butter. I wanted to really just say hi. I wanted to be on here like an hour ago or 2 hours ago, like 8 o'clock, not 10:30. So forgive me. But I like you late people. I even do Peloton at 11:30. There's some night people biking at night. I have a you long arm in your shed. I'm glad you got a long arm automation. Hey, however you get your machine. You want to know what I bought? Don't judge me, please. Hold on. And I'm in my PJs. Ooh. Let me see if I could get it. With my water. This is a new setup, so forgive me. She smells like old age. Okay, I got two. What happened is I was on eBay bidding like a psycho because I wanted one so badly. Let's see if I could get you down. So what happened is I bought one and I paid a decent amount of money for her. But this person, I did an offer on eBay and he didn't respond. So what ended up happening is after I purchased my first machine, he sold this to me for $100. Hold on. Isn't she pretty? Hold on. Ugh, she's heavy. Ain't she pretty? She's kind of scratched up, but she works. And I think the person found it for $50 at a garage sale and wanted to sell it on eBay. Now, this one, she's kind of like old. She's a bit worn a bit. She scratches. And, but heck, if I'm not buying her for $100, then, when I got her, I did maintenance on her. And I told my best friend, I said, she's like me. She's a bit worn. She's a bit, taking it. No, I wasn't taking advantage of, but, you know, working. And I don't know. I really like her. Hold on one second. My headsets. My headsets. Can you guys still hear me? For being on here for like an hour trying to figure out my batteries. I don't have everything together today. So I got her for like $150. This is what I call a God gift. Look, is she pretty? I oiled her. I put some love in her. I've rubbed her down with all her little wounds and scratches. Let me see if I could get her. The one that I paid a decent amount of money for, she's beautiful, glossy. She has, she looks like pristine. But this one's my favorite. I got her for like a deal. I did for custom clothes for mom. You have 3 for your grandchildren? They're called putt machines. I think they're neat. Um, I just really think she's neat. You want to see the other one? But look, this one's just beat. She's just beat up. And I think the guy who sold it to me, or he found it at a garage sale, and she was mistreated. But when I got her, I was so excited. And then, let me show you what I did. You know these little bathroom mats? Me and a friend cut these in half, and I put binding, and then I hot glued it on this end. And now I have a soft, cushiony space for her to sit down. Okay, what did she say? What? Girl, I have a lot to teach y'all. I'm crazy. I wanted to travel with. I think she's so neat. But I got her all these parts and toys. Like I got her little hats for her thread feeder thing. I wonder if I could get you better. And then I got her this weird spool thing, 1/4 inch foot. So I'm just investing some love in her. I did get her that new pan because she smells. She has a smell. she has an LED light now. And the neat thing is, for like $100, she works like. I go, you're a little bit ugly, but you work. Oh my gosh. Then you want to see the one that I spent money on? Let me see. Am I being ridiculous? I made them covers because I have an embroidery machine. Hold on, let me see. Let me put her back real quick. My son asked me, "What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm fighting with my computer." Does it go this way? Yeah. So this is my worn one that I got a deal on. Hold on, let me get up. So what happened is, when I bought this one, this guy messaged me back that Sunday, and I already purchased this one. So like I got 2 in 1. Well, my husband knows someone who paints stuff and paints really weird stuff for him. So I was gonna take it apart for him so he could sand them and then respray them. I want to get hold on, let me see. Let me get this one. So we're gonna call her Pretty Penny. This one does have some slight scratches on her, but let me show you her. She's pretty great. Look how pretty. Hold on, let me get another light. Because I was really just trying to figure out how to get this work on my computer laptop, my editing computer, and I went live without being purposeful. Look how clean this one is. This one I got for $400. She was still real cheap because for the cleanness of her, you can see. Look how pretty that is. There's no beadings. Pretty good, right? Well, I already made her like like a covering. Okay, I'm ridiculous. And then I made a covering for the foot. I'm ridiculous. A friend of mine wants to do a featherweight little bee. So I'm excited to help her. We're getting her house organized for it. So how are y'all? But look, I did this one. Me and a friend went shopping, and these are like floor mats. Sorry, y'all saw my rear. Forgive me. And we just cut them in half, and these are for the machines to sew on. She has one color, and I have the other color. $6. Great deal. Yes. Oh, what the hell? You can't be losing my battery. Oh my God, please, no. Oh, please. I'm checking my battery because it said my battery is going low. That's just my life lately. I will hope. Do you know how much it costs to refurbish these things? They cost about $1,000 to get one refurbished. And what happened is a friend of mine, she got one because her grandson was helping her, someone cleaning a garage, and they were going to throw it away into a landfill. And so he asked if he could keep it. So hers is in pristine condition. And when I was helping her with hers, I was like on the hunt for my own. So we're just gonna love them. So are you guys doing okay? Hi Robert, how are you doing? Last time we got cut off real bad because of the Facebook. I was thinking if I do live, I'm talking about YouTube, what's kicking me off. I was thinking if I do lives in here, since the connection's back here, I won't have problems. Terry, I do videos every single week. What happens is if you don't see one video, YouTube will unsubscribe you or video will stop notifying you. So if you just check back, you'll find that I have some videos coming up that have come up. I'm doing good. I did the Sweet Honeybee, and we had a really good event. We had like 20 people, and I don't know, it's kind of a different experience because I taught in an elderly community, I taught at my church, and now I'm teaching in a kind of a different community. I'm teaching sewers. Before I was just teaching people who never sewed before. Thank you, Courtney, for loving my channel. I really am. I am subscribed to your channel. Yeah, Terry. Even if you're subscribed, YouTube has been doing some weird stuff where it'll kick you off your subscription. It will not notify you. Or, like, a couple of people were saying they weren't seeing my videos, and YouTube just unsubscribed them. So, but just know that I post every week, or I try. And lately, since my life's been so hectic, I'm doing a live at 11 o'clock. I'm so sorry. Oh yeah. Just know that I am posting. Please subscribe anyway and hit all. But you know how you get busy and maybe, especially my favorite YouTubers, the day they post, I can't see the video. And so I will see it during the weekend. And I've noticed that, like, all of a sudden I don't see them. And then I'll go back and I'm like, God, I haven't seen her in a while. And then I see her channel that she's posted for 3 times already. But maybe the one week I missed her and YouTube stopped sending me notifications. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do a live every 2 weeks now. And I'm trying to do a live so that since my life has been so crazy lately, I still want to give you guys a video. And you guys really like the lives because you guys can ask me questions. Stop barking. And you guys could, let me see, the video has like a weird thing on. Hold on. Will it let me fix it? No, it's not gonna let me fix it. Hold on, let me see. It's not gonna let me fix it. There's a little sidebar on the side. And so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm sharing some content with y'all. So am I going to the Houston Quilt Show? Yeah. I also wanted to come up here and share that I'm coming. I'm going this Thursday, and I may be there for 3 days. Yes. Have I done any embroidery videos? Hold on. Let me cover myself. Sorry, I'm not in the screen, but let me share this. Can I find it? You hear me making noise? Why am I that person? Oh, I made this with embroidery. If you guys want more videos, tell me what you want, because I probably already filmed it. I just need to edit it. Lately, I'm gonna do some embroidery work on some bags and tight places. I also did these name badges. Where's the name badge? What did I do with my name badges? Here, I'll show you a picture. I did name badges for the sweet honeybee. My whole life is falling apart right now. Like, can I share with you? My phone's like, your battery's going out. So I did those badges. Yes. So what I did, okay, wait. What I did is I embroidered. Let me find my spot. Trying to find the camera. I embroidered this. Then I got the fabric and I laid it on top of like the long arm with the back fabric and the batting. And then I just quilted it. And then I got a brand new serger. You could see it over here. right there. On the corner. And I wanted to do a video on the serger and see like do a review kind of thing on it. But I don't know. Lately it's been crazy. Let me see. Yes, Courtney. I got the long one upstairs where it's 72 wide by 3. This is 3.5 by 5, if you see it. But this is a wider table. I love them. I love them. How do I like my Juki? My Juki, the one I did the review, I love it. The Juki 210Q, love them. This Serger is the MD something Serger. Oh my god. I love it. I'm even thinking of changing my channel and making my own clothes because I love it that much. What Serger did you get? Alright, should I bring it over here? Alright, let me skedaddle so you don't see my oh my god, my dog. This one. Y'all can see it? She is awesome. I mean, gosh. Awesome. Let me put her here. because she's heavy. Let me see if I can move her. Ugh. Can you see me? I'm trying to move all my crap. I'm sorry. I see you move her. Can you still hear me? Okay. You can probably hear me. Yes? What do I use Sergers for? Okay. I used to serger quilt tops. Make quilt tops with sergers because you could sew them quicker. Um, yeah, what happened is this dumb thing disconnected, but you could hear me real good, right? So I'm gonna turn this off. Can you hear me now? Hopefully. It says that it's recording vocals. Nope. Okay. Okay. Am I coming on now? I'm so sorry. Like I said, I was trying to set this stupid thing on with these on in my ears for 2 hours. Okay, so now you can hear me. That's good. My leg. So sorry. So, you could tell I'm of a certain age because of my technical prowess. I don't have any, but I'm learning. All right, so now we're gonna see me with some headsets. The It's okay. It's been a week. Okay. Well, the reason okay, my favorite serger used to be the Kenmore Serger. I don't know if you remember that. So I ended up getting. I have been wanting this Juki. I don't know. Can you even see her? Hold on, let me see if I can get you. Let me see if I could get this screen here. Can you see her? Look how beautiful she is. I've been wanting her for a long time, and she's expensive. And to be honest, she's pretty expensive. I think you could get her on Amazon now for like $1,500. And she's kind of dusty because, to be honest, I haven't been able to play with her as much as I want to. How you doing, Deborah? How you doing? Some of you who just joined. And um, they have a baby lock that's just like this. So I'm going to pick her up so you can see her better. Yeah, you can see her better. They have a baby lock that is just like this. And the reason I wanted her is because you know how you open, what happens? How you can open this air rides. So you push this button here and it literally feeds. I think these are the hardest loopers to feed, and it feeds them beautifully. I don't know, I'm sorry about my camera. They have one of these that doesn't have the screen, which you could go in the manual and kind of like, yeah, this is an air threader. It air threads it through. So Baby Lock has one, and if you were to buy Baby Lock's brand, which Baby Lock and Juki kind of are the same company, maybe same manufacturers, but Baby Lock probably puts better bearings or better parts in the system. But Juki is such a great machine that she's half the price than the Baby Lock one. The Baby One Lock one I think is like $3,000, and this one is, I got her for like, she's like 1,500. She's expensive. Okay, hold on, let me read some of you. So she's a bit expensive, but these two spools, these two feeders are air. Literally, you just push the button and it feeds the air through, which is because I believe these two thread loopers are the hardest threaders to thread in any serger. So I just honestly, when did I get her? I probably got her 2 months after, I got her probably 2 or 3 months after I got my other Juki, the one I did the review on. But I've wanted her for forever. As a matter of fact, I got her from Groms because that's where I got my other machine. And you don't have to give me money, Mama. And I just love this machine. She purrs like a little kitten. I ended up getting another serger, and that serger, so I'm trying to put her in. That serger rattled like, thank you, Terry, for the $2, but you don't have to. I feel weird, but thank you for blessing me with a $2 whatever blessing. I receive it, but you don't have to. I thank you for even just watching. Um, but this is like a baby lock. And let me turn her around so you can see her a bit better. What I love about this one, because they have one that's cheaper, um, this one, when you turn her on, she has literally, it tells you what gauge to thread this on, what thread to gauge this on, and if you want to do a single needle or a double needle, or if you want to do that weird like little thin border, it tells you what needle to use, what needle to remove, and it says it on this bar, which once I get my machines, I kind of like don't pay attention to the instructions. I'm real bad about that. Oh, I just thank you, Terry. But I just love you. I appreciate it, but you don't have to. Um, I appreciate that you appreciate that I'm here for y'all. Um, what do you use the serger for? Okay, so I have a YouTube video where I sergered a quilt top. You could serger a quilt top where if you do big pieces, like big squares, you could serger a quilt top in like no time at all, like quick. And I like sergering quilt tops, especially basic, easy blocks, because there's no open seams and you're double casting it, meaning it's two seams and then it's doubling around it. So to me, they're more versatile, long wearing quilts because they're less likely to open in a seam. And so I just used to do quilt tops. I also used to do the binding with the serger because I hated binding so much. So I would do a decorative thread, and instead of putting binding, I would just serger around the quilt, and I had quick and fast binding because girl was not educated on binding, and I didn't really like it, and it was just meh, you know what I mean? So let me see here. Some of you guys are asking me questions and I want to answer them. Sharon asked me if you have limited space but you want to use your serger machine, and if you're gonna get a Kia table, I recommend you don't get their legs. I recommend, let me see, that you get their drawers. I think if you're doing an IKEA table, because someone asked me, the drawers are the best because they really stabilize that table for you. And when I do my serger, let me see when I get my serger, it's great. But I got a serger a while back, and that thing rattled like she was falling apart on me, and then the threads would fall off. So I kind of jumped and got her. But the sad thing about it, it's that this is the only thing I've made two of these with it. When I think a while back I shared on one of my live streams, I felt real sick, and to kind of get myself out of that mood of not doing anything, I had quilted this and embroidered it, and what I did is I just sergered all the way around and turned it right side out, and it just came out beautiful. So I use them for quilt, especially big block quilts. You could serge your big block quilts. Someone said you can do log cabin blocks on this if you just maintain the constant seam. I mean, no what I think like half square triangles maybe would be a little bit hard to do. But if you're doing like straight line seams, or I even have like a scrappy just rectangles and squares, they're beautiful. When I first started years ago, I used to use the serger. Have you ever, because I would make a quilt top and I would add the batting, and then I would add the fabric, the backwards, and then sew all the way around, and then turn the quilt inside out, and then that would be my quilt. But it wasn't really quilted, but because I sewed the batting, sergered the batting, I would do what I did here, turn it inside out with no quilting, and it stabilized the quilt. But that's when I didn't know anything about quilting because I'm really self-taught. So that's how kind of, I really am self-taught. No one taught me. No one wanted to teach me. I was thinking the other day, I met some random people. I am that kind of crazy. I met two random ladies at Joann's, and they needed a dress made. And when I first started sewing, I sewed my junior year, I sewed all my clothes with my little Kenmore. I love that Kenmore. They don't make it anymore. I think Janome, they said that the Kenmore is a lot like the Janome sewing serger. And I used to make my clothes, and I make pillowcases, and I would just do different stuff like that. Nice to meet you, Jennifer. Thank you for being here on the live stream. I love sewing blankets too, but I used to do it on Serger because I hated binding. Well, I didn't know how to do binding. When you don't know how to do something new, I'm the kind of person that will procrastinate their life away before they try something new because I have an issue with failure. I want to be perfect the first time I try, which is not a reasonable request from yourself, right? Um, so, uh, if you can buy, and honestly, if you can buy a good serger, you don't have to buy this gem. But if you can afford this gem, the reason I recommend it is this here, right here. You know how when you're doing instructions and you're reading the instructions and it's telling you what thread to use for what setting? The neat thing is it's on this serger. So you don't need to look for your instructions or find them or wonder where you put them. It's on the machine itself, which is kind of neat. I've already changed the threads in 3 different ways because I was playing with it. I did like a little thin cast when you're doing real fine silks or satins. But oh my gosh, if I could just get my act together, because there's been something weird happening with me where I'm more motivated to do like volunteer stuff. So like this month, I ended up doing 8 quilts for Quilts of Valor, and I just loved quilting all those quilts. And then I was procrastinating doing a star quilt because I knew it was going to be a lot of work and it was going to be a lot of time. And then I spent so much energy finishing those quilts, then to start it's a Lone Star quilt that I did, was like pulling teeth from me. So lately it's been where to do something that's work motivated or work related or making money, I just, I don't know if I'm burned out or if I just not in the mood for it. So, because I'm doing all this donated work, then I'm backlogged on my work, and I work very well under pressure, and I work very well under under time constraints, that I will kill myself for the next 2 weeks finishing my work, and then I'm not having time to do stuff for me. So that's where I'm trying to get my act together. Okay, someone, if I'm going to do a review on the Serger. I just need the time to sit down and not have time pending. You got to get this kind of stuff done on top of me, because I want to do a great review where I'm showing you all the tricks and changing needles and kind of that. And then maybe when you get a serger, you'll kind of know what you're getting into. And I want to do a whole bunch of projects with it. But those projects would be stuff that I would want to do for myself. Let me see. You could make curtains with sergers. I have made, um, you can make clothes. So I met 2 strangers at Joann's, which, like that day I needed to finish quilt, and I literally gave them the day. A lady was like, "Do you know how to cut a pattern for a dress? I need it for tomorrow." And I invited her to my house. We folded her fabric. I used a random dress that fit her, because I have some dresses for different sizes because I was thinner. And we used that as a pattern. I cut the dress, and with this beautiful serger, I sergered the whole thing in less than 30 minutes. So you can make dresses and shirts. I have some of my favorite shirts that I want to replicate. That's what you could do your serger with. Hold on, let me keep going. Let me read some of y'all's word. Uh, I'm sorry. I love volunteering. I love volunteering and quilting for people. I really do. I think that's where my heart ultimately is. I know, like, I make money from my business, and I make money for quilting for others, but I found that the greatest joy for me lately is making stuff and just loving. Does my, yes, let me show you. Someone asked me what the model, Darlene asked me what the model for my serger is. The model for my serger, it's the MO 2000 QVP. Let me move her up for you so you can see her. Hopefully you can see the model right there. Come on, light. Do you see her? I recommend you get her at a store. Well, um, I recommend that you get her at a sewing company, so there's a warranty on her, but you can get them at Amazon pretty cheap. Well, cheaper than at the store, but you could tell the stores that are selling them that you can ask for a discount. I always barter with my the lady who I buy machines from because I tell her I want to bring you the business, but if you don't give me a good deal, I'll go to Amazon and you can barter for that. But I think this machine, the Baby Lock makes the exact same machine with a different shell, probably a little bit better parts, but they're selling her for like $2,700. And this one is 15, give or take. But I literally went to my lady and I begged and bartered with her and asked her to please um, uh, give me a good rate. I bought my serger from Groms sewing machine here in Universal City, and Gromes, Groms sewing machine repair shop in Universal City, and they have one in San Antonio. Yes, honestly, get to know your uh, the companies that you work for, not work for, the companies that sell machines. Talk to them, ask them, barter with them. The reason I also like this Juki, the reason I'm bringing her up, I love Juki because you could do multi-layers on their sewing machines. They're really industrial machines with a homemade kind of body, like home, like it's good for your home. It's not industrial, but it is an industrial machine. So like this has the fabric, the batting, and I put interfacing on this back fabric to stiffen it and the back fabric. So it has probably like 4 layers and it's a pretty thick seam. This little serger, no needle broke. I had no problems. And like my Juki 210Qs, the ones that the Juki 210Q that I have here and the one upstairs, this is a pretty thick foam. And it literally, I didn't have needle issues. It wasn't popping off. It wasn't misaligning. It just worked. Um, it just worked great. But you can talk to the dealers, say that you could get it cheaper somewhere else. And I think shops want to sell you the machine because there's quite a bit higher markup on them. So I talked to my lady and she gave me a really great rate. So if you're local, talk to Cindy at Groms at Universal City or San Antonio and tell her Lorena, the YouTuber, sent you. The YouTuber sent you. And I love Cindy from Groms. She's wonderful to me. I buy all my machines from her. So let's see what else. I'm trying to read y'all's comments. Do I know the name of the thing you use behind the item from me? This? I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out someone's asking me a question. The serger in a cover stitch machine, the serger will cut your fabric, and Baby Lock and Juki do have a machine that does cover stitch. Cover stitch machines end up having 5 threads. Is it 5 threads? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 threads? 6 threads. And the reason they use 6 threads, and I also think they have more needles, maybe not more needles. Yeah, they do. Because a cover stitch is where I don't know if you can see my arm. It'll literally serger and then it'll serger in the back and then it'll just do like little dots but it will not cut your fabric. A serger will always cut whatever it sews. It'll literally cut the stitch off. Yeah, cover stitches machines, and Baby Lock has them, but they're expensive. They're like $4,000, and they're great machines. I think you could get an industrial cover stitch machine cheaper that's Juki, but it's a big giant machine. It has a big old ugly table, cheaper than if you were to get it at Baby Lock. But you don't use cover stitches. Let me see. Cover stitch. Let me see. Trying to show y'all. Cover stitch does this. Do you see that? Maybe? Turn. It does this, but at the same time, it did this. But it doesn't cut the fabric. The serger just does this. The serger just does that. It just literally cuts it, rolls a rollover hem, and then it trims it off, and it's like 4 pieces of thread, and it rolls it over. And then this, it's just, there's no cutting, but they use probably 5 threads. Does brother have a cover? I don't know, to be honest. Hello, Joy. How are you? I don't know. I know that Baby Lock does have one, and they're a bit expensive. And I also think that Juki has one. Sorry, I'm sweaty. My ears are hot. I know they do have one. And honestly, I met a lady the other day. Go look at garage sales. I saw her buy a Baby Lock uh, that has a cover stitch that has, if you see a serger that has like 5 or 6 threads, it's probably a cover stitch serger. It's a cover stitch, and it's a one, and it has all of the bells and whistles. And I know a couple friends who found one in a box. A lady didn't want it anymore, and she sold it for $30, and it's probably like a $3,000, $4,000 machine. So go hunting. They're out there. People, there is this app. Let me see where can I find it. And I don't know if it's called Estates. It's right here. It's called estatesales.net. If you hit it and you put your location, it'll literally tells you everywhere where there's an estate sale, so that you're able to find, like, I hit mine right here, and it's showing me all the estate sales that are going on currently. And if you look in these estate sales, you're more likely going to find, you could look literally, let me hit one of them. You could literally, I don't know if, oops, you could literally see every single thing that they're going to sell in the estate sale. So you don't even have to be driving around going to garage sales. You could just kind of like get this app, and um, and then you can call whenever they're having an estate sale, like they're having, let me see. So you hit, okay, so let me show you. I'm all talking all random stuff today. Let me see. So those little red buttons are estate sales. Then you hit one of them, and it tells you the date they're having it and the location and how far it is. And then they shares all the different items that are in the estate sale. Seriously, people will sell stuff for nothing, especially at state sales. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Nice to meet you, Robin. I'm glad you're here on a live. It's 11:30 at night. I'm so sorry, guys. Your husbands are probably like, what are you doing on the computer so late? Who are you talking to? What's going on? there's a whole bunch of different companies that do sergers with overcast. I bought one. Oh, but just make sure if you can, try the machine, play with it. Stay there for, give yourself an hour or two to mess with my machine because I bought one and I spent like $800 on it. And let me see if I could show you the thread back here. It had a weird, the way it's set up, it was just latched on. And when the machine would go, it rattled so much and the thread would fall. And then when I was using it on the table, I recommend that if they have any like stuff on the table, kind of remove it because sometimes they'll put like cushions and stuff under the machine so they don't sound so rattly. So then when I got the machine, I was like, this thing, it rattled like crazy and it was loud. And I I have I don't know what it is. I think I'm noise sensitive, and I know it's crazy to say I'm noise sensitive when I'm dealing with embroidery machines, but there's certain types of noises that I'm okay with, and certain kind of noises that just kind of like get under my skin a bit. So like, there's a Melco embroidery machine that I was gonna consider getting. I think it's a 10 to, no, it's a 12 needle embroidery machine. They're beautiful embroidery machines. But when the embroidery machine was working, because I was there for an hour listening to the dumb machine, it rattled so weird, like plasticky, like that I like, no, I wouldn't buy that machine. So I ended up getting the Baby Lock 10 needle embroidery machine, which the Melco is a better embroidery machine. It's a faster running machine. It had better head span, excuse me, where the machine could rotate further on the hat. It had bigger hoop. I mean, there was a lot of benefits to it, okay? It's a great machine. But for me, the noise was just so annoying and plasticky that I wouldn't buy it. So I ended up getting my 10 needle because the 10 needle had a more grounded noise. I don't know. So anyway, if you don't care about noise or how a machine sounds or how the machine is sounding when you're using it, who cares? But I ended up spending $800 on a serger that I hated. And what ended up happening to me is that I never used it. And when I used it, I hated it. And I have a video of where I did a quilt on it because I was like, you know what, girl? You did spend a lot of money on this and you should use it and you should try it. And um, I gave it to my daughter because I just can't. And I think what they did, they put something on the bottom of it to not let it rattle. And so I tried that, and then the thread was falling off. So then I glued that hook thing to the thread. I was just like, you know what? Just no. But you could, like my Kenmore, which I love my Kenmore, which I only spent $150 on it or $100 at the time for it. I loved it and I used it constantly, but then they stopped making them. Let me see. Yes, Joy, play with your machines. Don't do what I did. I bought my Gamel in 2008, and I think maybe 4 years later, I seriously started using it. As a matter of fact, um, I'm shocked at how many times I turn it on now. Because I used to, I would probably turn it on maybe twice a month, 3 times a month, and, just quilt one quilt and then not get back on it, and then maybe quilt another quilt, and 2 months later went by, and then I wouldn't use it. And then I think 5 years later, uh, I ended up touching it and I had static electricity and I fried the brain on the computer in the back. And I had to repurchase that and it cost me $600. And I got kind of mad at myself because it was like a week away from the warranty. And I said, you know what, stupid? If you were using the machine and fried the brain right back when, you would still be under warranty, but no. And so use any machine that you have, all the machines that you have, use them. And if you're not going to use them, well, I wouldn't recommend selling them, but make a plan to use them. Let me see, what else are you guys saying to me? I'm watching multi-needle machines too. Listen to the sound of the machine, and especially, Terry, if you want to do embroidery machines, um, I cannot recommend more the 6-needle embroidery machine, Baby Lock or Brother, PR620s, or Baby Lock EMPQ. That's what they used to be. I don't know what they are now, but they're 6 needles. My 10 needle, I love it. What I like about the multi-needle embroidery machines is that my first one, my first one I bought in 2002, and that sucker still works. And I literally blew the motor, and a company fixed it for me for $100. Now I'm sure it's not as cheap to fix them now, but um, when I purchased the 10 needle, come on, please. When I purchased the 10 needle embroidery machine, um, they said they couldn't repair my first one. I found this random man who fixed my first one, which I got in 2002. He fixed it for $500, and he literally put a brand new screen on it, a brand new touch screen, and a whole bunch of stuff. He kind of jiggered it, but for $500, I think in my 6-needle PR620, my very first one, because it was just a 600 PR600, I think I've spent $1,000 on repairs on it. Now my 620, I think I have spent, to be honest, and I don't maintenance them all the time. I don't take them to the shop every year because I maintenance them myself. I oil them a lot. I make sure they stay clean. I just love it. My 10 needle, I got the Baby Lock 10 needle embroidery machine, but it was a Baby Lock brand. Brother does the 10 needle embroidery machine. The difference between Baby Lock and Brother, they're both great machines, okay? Baby Lock uses better bearings. And my first one was a Baby Lock, and I've never had any problems, but I've never had problems with the Brother. So locally here in Texas, I went to the Baby Lock dealer and I went to the Brother dealer, and what they were doing a special, like they would give me a laptop and they would give me the program. Well, I didn't need any of that. And then Baby Lock wasn't giving any specials. And so what I did with Baby Lock is I said I could get the Brother for this price. I want you to give it to me for that price, but I also want you to get me the hat hoop set, that hat hoop frame set, and I want you to give it to me for free. Because Brother was willing to give me a laptop, the program. I think they were going to give me some extra stabilizers and thread sets, and they also had a cheaper price. And I said, I don't want any of that crap, Baby Lock, but I want the head. And then the Brother was willing to give me the hat hoop frame, the framing system to do hats, and they gave me the hat hoop frame, Baby Lock. And I said, I don't need threads, I don't need a stabilizer, I don't need any of that. Just give me that hat hoop frame, because that hat hoop frame just in itself is like $1,000 to $1,500. So I recommend you go to 2 companies, you get them to lowball that as much as you can, and then um, get a deal. And I got Baby Lock because they gave me the hat hoop frame, and to be honest, the guy who was repairing my first Baby Lock machine, he repaired it and went through it, and he says, I can't fix it. Something's wrong. I can't fix it, and they don't make parts for it. He goes, but I'm not charging you for what I've done. So because he was so good to me that way, I really wanted to go with the company that sold me the Baby Lock. but they sold it to me at the same price that brother sold it to me, because baby lock is usually more expensive, and they gave me the hat hoop frame that I wanted. If not, suckers, I'm going to brother. So I'm not loyal to a brand, I'm loyal to my pocket. And so I got the 10 needle embroidery machine from Baby Lock. But the brother is just as good. They'll talk to you about different stuff. But um, if you can get a company, if you're going to get a multi-needle sewing embroidery machine, I recommend that with the embroidery machine, you don't need to buy a table because they're going to try to sell you $1,000 table. You could get a table at Sam's, or you can even get a table at Home Depot, which is a butcher block table that will fit the size of your machine, so it doesn't, or you could, it's a long table and it's on caster wheels. I'm sorry, excuse me. And you don't have to get their table. It really doesn't make that big of a difference, because I got it's called a cooking table where you chop up food on it, but it was a metal cast table, and it was exactly the size of the width, a little bit bigger for it to sit on there. And I love that table because it only cost me $40, not $700 for the table they want to sell me. And so let me see what else. So look for deals, but if you're going to do an embroidery business, I recommend you get my favorite program, and I love it, but it's expensive. It's why did it just pass my brain? Um, Bernina Artista embroidery program, and I recommend that if you get that program, you try to get that program where they teach you and give you about a week or two classes. And what I did is I researched everywhere, and I literally traveled to Austin to take weekend classes to learn the program, because it's so hard to learn a program without having someone pushing you and having a class environment. Um, Let me see what you guys are saying. What threads do I use? Okay, Courtney's asking me what threads I use for quilting. I love Connections. I love Superior Threads. My favorite thread is a King Tut, um, King Tut, 100% Egyptian cotton thread. It is an expensive thread, but if you have a business, you can get that thread wholesale. I love variegated thread. As a matter of fact, I have some here. It's just beautiful. They also, Connections Essentials thread came out with a different company that has 100% cotton. I quilt with 100% cotton. I don't like quilting with polyester threads because I feel, my opinion, polyester threads are plastic. It's a plastic thread, it's polyester. After a period of time, polyester is going to start rubbing on that cotton fiber and start tearing your cotton quilt. And I feel, just an opinion, that if you use a cotton thread with a cotton fabric, the cotton thread starts to weld and become part of the cotton of the fabric. And I've seen like antique quilts last a long time because it's quilted with cotton on cotton. But if you don't care if your quilt lasts forever, like 90 years, because I quilt some 90-year-old quilts, it's up to you. Another cheap cotton, which you don't, it's Connections Essentials thread. It's, hold on, let me show you what it is. Connections Essentials thread. It's 100% cotton. This one spool quilts beautifully on long arms. This quilts like, oh my gosh. A lady didn't want to pay my thread charge, which I understand. And so she brought me these spools. And I quilted a full king size quilt with one of the spools. And these spools cost, maybe now at the time, they cost maybe $1.75. Now maybe they cost $2.40. You You could get a whole kind of collection of them. There, hold on, let me show you. I have a collection. Let me see. You can get a collection of them of different colors. I'm sorry, I'm leaving the screen. Of different beautiful colors, and they, oh my gosh, 100% cotton. Um, they just quilt beautifully. And if you're new to long arm quilting, or if you're just wanting to like sew on a sewing machine and you need quilting thread but don't want to go crazy, because even if you buy um, King Tut thread from Superior and you get a wholesale account, it costs $17 for one spool. Now you get, I think, 5,000 yards of thread, but you're kind of stuck with one color. I'm using this because I'm fixing a custom quilt, so I brought some thread down here so I could put it in my sewing machine and sew it because I'm not putting it on the long arm again. But these are like $2 and something and change, maybe $3. And one whole spool will probably quilt a king size quilt or a baby. And this quilts beautifully. And you could use it on your sewing machine. I use it for piecing too, or you could use it on your long arm, So you don't have to buy expensive thread, but I have a heart for cotton threads for quilting, because if you're spending so much darn money on cotton fabric at quilt stores, I think a cotton thread on top of that cotton, it just, as time goes on, it welds to that cotton fiber of the fabric. But I know some people use glide thread. It's a polyester thread. It's cheap as heck, and they use it for quilting. And they charge up the butt for the thread, and they fee customers up the butt for it. Anyway, I just don't want to go on my tangent, you know what I mean? But I love this. It's a connections thread, and the thread is called Essentials thread, and you can order it online. They also came out with a long arm spools for long arm quilting, but people don't talk about them. And their threads are beautiful, and I have used their spools. Um, and of course, when I use this on my clients, I charge like hardly nothing to use this thread for them, because, um, it's so cheap. And uh, but there's other companies that are 100% cotton, but these are like, I just love. It's such a deal for like $2. You can't beat it. And you can experiment with colors, and you can play around and try them differently. And they do quilt beautifully on a sewing machine also. You can use them for piecing and for quilting on your sewing machine. The thread doesn't break as much as other threads do when you're quilting on a sewing machine, like quilting on your regular sewing machine. Let me see what other people are asking me. If you're gonna do embroidery, I started with a regular sewing machine that had an embroidery. I wish that I would have invested the $3,000 that I put, or $4,000 at the time, that I put into that embroidery machine, and I would have put it towards my 6 needle. You're spending a lot of money on a single needle machine, especially if you're buying Bernina. I love Bernina for piecing, and I know you some Bernina chicks, but if you're going to do embroidery, do not spend $10,000 on a Bernina single needle embroidery machine, because you could literally get a big, giant, beautiful 6 needle embroidery machine and really make money off of it than you can on a single needle Bernina embroidery machine. That's just my opinion. That's just my thoughts, because um, get your Bernina and do your straight stitching with it. They're great. But for embroidery machines, they take forever. And then you're changing a thread, and then it's chuku 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 chuku, and then you're changing the next thread, and when you have a 6 needle for the same price, well, And you'll never go wrong with a 6-needle embroidery machine or a 10 needle because they hold their value. They hold their value for a long period of time. And people want them and people will pay you for them. Let me see what else. Show codes will also have great show specials. Superior will discount at a show. Get at Superior if you're going to the Houston Quilt Show. Literally get yourself a wholesale account. And it's not hard to get a wholesale account. All you need is sales tax ID. You don't even need an LLC. Well, that's here in Texas. I'm just sharing. Connections Threads does, you can order online and they'll ship to you. You can even get a book because they also sell fabric and stuff. Let me see who, I'm trying to answer. I think I just answered Darlene's question there. Yeah, I love 100% cotton, guys. And this is my thought. If I'm spending $14 for a yard of cotton fabric, and I'm not using a cotton polyester fabric because it's a quilt, I don't understand why you would use a polyester thread. But that's just my opinion. Lorena. Okay, Lorena, Mary, you're asking me a question. Mary says, Aerofill is 100% cotton. I love Aerofill. It is a very good thread to piece with. I just kind of got the love of it because I don't love the $14 charge for it. Because, though, okay, I just did, when I did the sewing bee, I did a block with this connections thread. I pieced with it. And I wanted to see if it weighed down the quilt. So I pieced a log cabin block with it. And then I also pieced with Aerofill 50-2 ply, the weight of it. And I pieced with that. And then I pieced with a 40 weight 2 ply Aerofill. I'm not saying it right. Okay, forgive me. And I pieced with it. What I love about piecing with Aerofill, the ledge of the block was thinner and it didn't lump from the seam like it did with these. I also weighed the blocks, so all Aerofill stayed the same size in block weight. They were 18 ounces, I believe, or 18 grams. I'm not sure exactly. And this one, when I did the block with this thread, it was 20 grams. So it increased 2 grams, or yeah, it was 2 grams, I believe, in weight to the block. So if you add that to a quilt top, of course, the quilt top will be heavier. I learned a lot in trying to do different types of threads. I also used a Deco Bob thread. It's a polyester thread, 80 weight, and I did a block with that. Now, oh my God, that seam didn't even feel like there was a seam at all. It didn't. It like the stitch disappeared inside the fiber of that cotton. But now again, you're piecing with polyester. So Aerofill, when you wash it, it doesn't plump. And this probably does plump up and expand and get thicker. I didn't wash my blocks. That's a good idea. I should have washed my blocks. Add Viking to the embroidery machine? No. I don't understand that question. I'm just answering some of you that I may have missed your questions. If you have a 1-needle embroidery machine, I think maybe you could trade it in at some quilt stores. Yes. Viking single needles are as bad as Bernina. I don't purchase Bernina machines. I just don't see the value. It's just a sewing machine. Don't hang me. um, I don't know. I think they want a lot of money for those machines. A lot. And I feel that I remember when I got my Bernina Artista embroidery program, which I love. I'm all for that one. I met a lady who bought the Bernina embroidery machine, came with all these wonderful feet. It came with all these wonderful little gadgets, and they were wonderful. Um, and I got the program because at the time I just purchased my 6 needle embroidery machine, and I needed a program so I could digitize, right? Um, Her and I spent about the same amount of money, to be honest. And but she had a 1 needle Bernina embroidery machine where it worked. It did only certain stitches at a time. I think she spent like let's say in the whole scheme of it at the time, she spent probably like $8,000 for the program, the machine, the feet that it came with it, and all this other stuff. She didn't use the embroidery as much as she wanted to because she had to do a lot of change threading. At the time, I got a great deal with my first machine. I paid $5,000 for it. It was a 6 needle embroidery machine. Now it is just an embroidery machine. It's not a sewing machine. You guys don't take in consideration the hassle of putting all the stuff on to get it to embroider and then taking it all off to get it to sew. There is something so ease of use of having a machine that's solely for sewing your piecing on. That's why I have a Juki 210Q. It's just a straight line machine. It doesn't have zigzags. It doesn't have any of that because I didn't never really played with that on a machine anyway when I had my little singers to go to a machine that's solely embroidery. It's such an easy work of use. Like you could sew on your singer or single needle and sew piecing. And then if you want to do embroidery, you just set up the embroidery and it's embroidery ready to go. And it's a sewing machine ready to go. But when I had my machine, just setting it up to do embroidery was like a task. Then to take it apart and put it away. Now, of course, I didn't care because it was new and I loved it. It was my thing. But it was after a while, I just either like, oh, I'm just going to leave it on embroidery or just I left it as a regular sewing machine because I didn't want to deal with it. Let me answer some of y'all's questions. I've never tried Viking, to be honest, so I can't have an opinion. But I know a friend who loves her Viking. But mm, I don't know. I honestly, and I'm being honest, I've never used a Bernina. It's too rich for my bank account. I'm sure maybe if I probably used it and I felt the sound or the stitch and because I know they're like great quality stitching, they say the stitch is I don't know. To me, when I'm making a quilt, no one sees how it's stitched when you made the block. But okay, I don't know, right? So I've never used Bernina because the price was too high for me. Um, but I love Singer, but I'm in love with Juki's. I love Juki. Like the Juki 210Q, I've had her for like 8, 9 years. No, 8 years now. She's just, I love her. I love the purr of her. And I sew fast, so I'm like a workhorse, like sewing. So, I mean, it's all preference, right? We all have our thing. We all like certain machines for what they bring to us. Uh, I'm sorry, Joy. I am so sorry. I did have a video 5 years ago about this. But YouTube probably didn't send me to you. Um, how did I start long arm quilting? Lorena's asking me. Um, hmm. To be honest, I was more into the embroidery business. I used to do embroidery. Well, I still do. I do embroidery for youth associations, for baseball teams, and I do their jerseys, their name and number on a hat, and I do their jerseys, and I would do kind of like work for them for youth associations. So if you want to start an embroidery business, youth associations are the best. Soccer teams, cheerleading. Oh my God, you can start your business on embroidering um, bows or heat pressing bows. And so initially that was where I started. But what I used to do is I used to make little quilts and I would sit and sew them on my regular sewing machine. And it just took forever and it was backbreaking. So I saw the Linda's Electric quilting video on how she was teaching about long arming, and I just fell in love with the art of it, just the artistry of quilting. I try to do that same artistry on a regular sewing machine, and you really can't. So at the time when I got my long arm quilting business, the reason I didn't use my long arm as much is because I was constantly working for embroidery. I had, because I did this youth association, it almost brought up like small companies started coming to me, like Longhorn leather companies came to me, pool companies. They saw my work with the hats on their kids, and now I established like a rapport with people who had companies. So, um, to be honest, when I got my long arm 5 years in, I was really just using it for me, kind of like, but I've always wanted to establish a business. And at the time, my husband lost his job, and long arm quilting saved us from going into bankruptcy. And that's how it started the business. I think sometimes trouble um, problems lead you to a destiny you didn't expect. And so when my husband lost his job, I started working as a paraprofessional or a teacher's aide or a teacher's maid, however you want to say it. And I was barely making $1,000 a month. And if I wanted insurance for my kids, they wanted to charge me $1,500 a month. And I remember having a huge Durango, and the gas went crazy at the time. I was paying $500 or $600 on gas at the time. Can you imagine? And I was paying probably like $580 for the truck payment. So I was paying almost $1,000 for something for a vehicle. And I remember every week the gas was like $120. And I remember having $120 in my hand and saying, do I get groceries for my kids or do I put gas in the Durango? And I remember just that like dread in my heart. And I was very poor. My mom was on welfare. I was a really poor kid. And we only got one gift during Christmas. And I remember uh, there's a thing about me not having food in the refrigerator. Not, and I could go without eating, but I never wanted my kids to see the refrigerator empty. So I went and got groceries. And I remember praying and saying, God, it was scary. I don't know how we're going to do it. And I remember he brought me 5 ladies. They all brought me, and I used to be cheap as heck when I used to quilt for people. I would charge probably like 0.15 or 0.0125. And I would say, if you bring me 3, I'll give one for free. If you bring me 3 quilts, I'll quilt one for free. And I had 5 ladies, and they each brought me 3 quilts. And I'll never forget that time. And that's how, really, if you want to know how did it start, um, I was surviving through embroidery, my embroidery business. That's how we survived. I literally told the principal that I was working for, I said, I can make more money if I quit today working for the youth association doing my baseball season than working here. Because I would make in my baseball season, I could make probably $4,000 in a month. When I was working at the school district, I was only making $1,000 a month. And I was like, if I quit now, I can make $4,000, which would save me $1,000. I could make $4,000 in one month. and let me just say this, y'all are looking like $4,000 in a month. I was killing myself for that money. I had the embroidery machine running from 8 in the morning till probably, oh God, there was times I was running it to 12 at night constantly. That's when the first one that I did, I broke the motor on it. And it's back-breaking work. Noise is exhausting that they don't tell you when you buy the machines. I didn't have a separate room now like I do now. It was all in my living room. Like this room, I had my embroidery machines. And at the time, I only had one, and I was surviving on one machine, killing myself. And then, but then the long arm quilting brought me money in a different way. Like quilting gives you bigger chunks of money for one quilt than if you're doing embroidery. Like right now I have an embroidery job and I have 5 bags and I'm going to make maybe $40 on it. But if I get one quilt, I'll probably make $100 on it. And the time to embroider the bag is probably 30 minutes and the time to quilt that quilt is maybe an hour and a half. But in having that quilt, you make a little bit more money. And so that's honestly how I started the quilting business, because I was so scared of my machine and I didn't use it. So these ladies, they were retired, their income didn't change, they weren't losing their income like my husband did. And so that's how we survived that time. And so, hi, how you doing, Carissa? So I was talking to like the church the other day, and I said, um, trouble can set you up for your success if you look at trouble that way. Um, Trouble sets you up for a blessing. It can. I think it does. Um, when COVID happened, I was trying to save money to have a building for um, for the church and for my business. And COVID is like trouble, right? Problems. And I had the back building all these years. We've lived here for 20 something years. My lollipop offering. Thank you, Miha. Um, and I never considered renovating the back house ever. It was never a consideration. It was always move my business from my house into a storefront or something. And when COVID happened, it was just like, okay, I can't do that because I don't want to be paying rent for someone else's building. And um, now I was talking to the church the other day. I go, I cannot believe how a problem at the time has become such a blessing for me. And it just kind of, um, it, how God turned it around for me. And I cannot believe how beautiful that building is. I just can't. And and it's my house, it's my property. I've increased the property value. Um, I literally leave my house, go to a restaurant, go eat breakfast, then come back home and go to work in my back building. And I'm not paying rent. Um, it all of my equipment and my business stuff is not in my house anymore. I I just can't believe how a problem God turned it around to be a blessing. And I couldn't believe that. And I'm just sharing like how I started the business when my husband lost his job and he lost literally 2/3 of his income because he was making $68,000. And we went to $28,000, 20 something, maybe $26,000 a year. And I had 5 kids that I had to feed and take care of. How you doing, Tiffany from Quilting Life? How are you? Um, and I'm so thankful because in him losing that income, I was able to get my degree for free because I was a mother of 5 kids. I got FAFSA financial aid. So I got my degree paid for. I never thought that time would be such a I thought it was just like we were gonna die. Am I gonna die? How are we gonna make it? I have 5 kids. Oh my God. In me, okay. But inside, in front of everybody, we're like, hey, we're good. But in me, I'm like, oh my God, Jesus, where are you? There's this song from Psalms 121. It says, I lift my eyes to the hills from where my help comes from. My help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. I love this song because when I found out that they fired my husband or let him go, that song started praying in my heart. And it dawned on me that my help comes from the Lord who made heaven and earth. But I look up on the hill. Sometimes you're looking up on a hill and God could be right on the other side, ready to bless you. But because it's a hill, you can't see the other side till you get to the top of that hill. So I remember, like, where's this help gonna come from? How we're gonna make it? And oh, my long arm quilting really came to that was the other side of the hill. Just really putting that long arm to work. And I was working that long arm and embroidery, and I was getting my degree. And like I was telling my best friend, I said, God can set you up for a blessing in your trouble. God is a good, he'll set you up, but you think you're dying and you're falling apart. But and now, and on the other end, right? I'm over that hill. I've passed that season. Before COVID happened, that situation made me a saver of money, really determined to learn how to save money. And in saving money, I was able to renovate the back house and pay it in cash. So even that 2010 time, even now in my future, has become such a blessing. So I just want to share that um, just use what God gives you. I mean, you could really be successful in anything. If you have a serger, make clothes, make garments for people, make aprons, make table runners, and God will bring you the people to bless with that work. Because He did me randomly. I literally told a friend, like, yeah, I'm long arm quilting. He says, well, do you have any clients? I'm like, no. He goes, well, my sister does quilts. I'll tell her about you. And him telling this man who doesn't even sew, he doesn't do anything. He told his sister about me, and that's how I got those. I think it was 5 ladies came to me, and I gave them that special, bring me 3 and I'll give you one for free. And they each bought me, I got 15 quilts, and oh God, you guys, I was able, at the time, I didn't even have money for, oh, I don't want to cry, Christmas presents for my kids. And ooh, not only did I have food in my refrigerator and was able to put gas in my car, I was able to buy each of my kids, each of my 5 kids, a Christmas present for them, and I was able to pay for Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner. So, and now I think about it, if it wasn't for that situation, I would have never been quilting for people. And if it wasn't for that situation, I would have never done YouTube. And I would have never met you guys. I mean, who would have thought my husband losing his job would have just brought this kind of unique success that I never planned for? Or even like, I was telling my kids, we were talking about Joseph, how the father put the coat of many colors on Joseph, right? And we all look at it like it's so endearing. His daddy put this coat on him, and his brothers were jealous and they tore it off of him and sold him as a slave. I was saying, uh, the coat that the father put on him was such a small dream in comparison for the dream that God had for Joseph. And because, like I was telling I'm praying for my kids, right? I have like a desire for my kids to be a certain place and be a certain success. And I said, I think my dreams are so small in comparison to what God's plan for them are. And I was telling them, I don't want to put my garments or my declarations of who I think you should be, because my vision could be so small. And I think when I look at the back house and I look at YouTube and I look at you guys taking time to be with me at 12 o'clock at night, um, God, my dream was so small in comparison to even to what I thought I was where I was gonna go. And so I was just, wanting you to know that that's really how it started, in trouble. In trouble is where the blessing of my business started. I was hungry for money. Hungry for money. I needed to feed my kids. and and man, I was telling my kids, when I look at the back house, like, my dreams were so small. And I was thinking about Joseph's coat. That coat was so insignificant in comparison to who God made Joseph to be, a deliverer for all the Egyptians and for his own family. But anyway, I was just, that's how it started. And so when you have troubles, just see, where's the blessing? Look for it. Look for it, because there's one there somewhere. Let me see. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry I'm preaching. I don't mean to be preachy. I just want to be an encourager. I just want you to know that there's something out there for y'all. And y'all's dreams are too small. Tiffany, which pillow are you talking about? Are you talking about the banner? Let me see. Let me answer some of y'all's questions. Hi from Ohio, Miss Joy. I'm sorry. Do I realize what kind of role model I am for my kids? No, but um, I came up from a really hard time. Okay, I have very immature parents, and through the immaturity of my parents, I went through a lot of suffering because of them, because of their actions and their behaviors. And so I never wanted kids. The blessing of that, having my kids, it's that I was determined to be a different kind of parent. I always thought that my kids would abandon me, like turn their back on me and not want anything to do with me. And it's crazy to see, um, like, my daughter moved literally 5 houses down the street from me. Like I said, my vision is so small. And so I have grandchildren. She has grandchildren. She has children. And it's so neat having them walk down the street just to come see me. And my grandchildren call me Ami. And I look at my daughter and I'm like, why do you want to be around me? Um, and I don't know. I'm just so thankful for God. I'm just so thankful because when I had my son, I was a very angry parent. I was I was an angry person. And I remember when I had my son, and I'm going to share like the whole truth of who I am. I remember the bottle fell down, and I threw the bottle at my son, and the bottle burst open and milk flew everywhere. And I heard this quiet voice say to my heart, I thought if I gave you a son, you would change. And I remember that day being so embarrassed with myself. And I remember that specific day I started going to church and starting asking God to change me, because I had some problems with how I grew up. And so I am so thankful that I started going to church. And I was a Catholic, and I had a different way of, I grew up a certain way, and I didn't have a father in my life. And so it's like trying to fix yourself without knowing how to fix yourself. And then I saw how I behaved with my son, and I just started going to church. And I just started going to church. And I remember just sitting there and listening. And somewhere in that, I just started feeling better. Just feeling better. I think I was, there's a scripture that says where Jesus says, I'm thirsty. I think sin makes you thirsty. And I just started feeling like sometimes I would take a shower on the inside. And I remember my son, well, because I was an angry parent, he became an angry son. And I remember him throwing a tantrum in the middle of the floor while I was trying to bring in like 10 loads of laundry and carrying groceries. And I wanted to go psycho on him again. And I remember letting him throw himself on the floor. And I remember walking inside and I said, God, please help me not kill him, because I want to kill him, because I was so short tempered. And I remember walking in, dropping off the groceries, and just saying, please help me just calm down so I don't kill him and do something. And I remember, I'll never forget, I literally walked back to him, and I had such a peace inside my heart that I looked at him and I said, are you okay? And he looked at me, because he was ready for me to go psycho on him, that he looked at me shocked, like, you're not going to lose your crap on me? And I put my hand out, and he looked at me like, oh. And we walked in the house, and I'll never forget that experience of peace. And so I'm just so thankful for God just kind of changing me, because I really needed it. And I was telling him the other day, like when I looked at the back house, I was watching my own videos. I'm that kind of person. I was watching my own videos, and I was laughing at my own stupidity and just laughing at myself. And I was looking at the room. I go, I can't believe I have that long arm. How the hell did you get that? And then I was watching like a embroidery video, and I was watching, how did the hell did you get 3 machines? I remember you praying for just one. And I was like, and I was just like, I can't believe that. Um, I just can't believe that I'm here, because my dreams were so small. They really were so small. Um, I didn't really even have any. I didn't have any dreams for myself, because of the way I grew up. My mom told me never to like dream, because her dreams were shattered. And it wasn't anything wrong on her part. It's just that um, the things that she hoped for or wanted, or it didn't happen for her. So I guess she didn't want me to be like, she didn't want me to hope, because if you don't hope, then you don't lose hope, I guess. And so with God, I don't know. It's crazy. I can't believe what he's done for me. And man, Joseph's coat was so small. The father had such a small dream for Joseph in comparison who God made him. And I think if you just tap into what God has for you, like if you just love God and give him a chance and listen to him and trust him, even with all your failures, he could take you somewhere great. Because I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. To be honest, I can't believe you guys are willing to be here listening to me at 12:30, or some of you say it's 10 o'clock in Arizona, Sharon. Um, and I appreciate you even just considering taking this time. But I don't know. My dreams were so small. Well, I didn't have any. because I just didn't have any. I thought if I got married, I'd be divorced, and I thought if I'd have children, they'd all leave me, and I, I I don't know. I don't know. Thank you for telling me I've been a blessing. Um, I just want to share what he's done for me because he could do it for you. That's all. Um, and it's not about, well, it's not about this religion or this one. It's just his love for us. His love for us. He loves us. And I used to smoke cigarettes, and I used to smoke pot, and I used to get drunk, and um, I was telling him, thank you for telling me to stop smoking. um, thank you for, because now I'm turning 50 next year. I was like, I was smoking at 12 years old, and I was like, man, I would probably have COPD, I'd have cancer, I'd be so sick. Um, and him telling me not to do something was really him loving me enough to want me to be healthy. So I just, y'all's dreams are so small, and they are, because mine are. I'm doing a group right now. I'm teaching like a sew group with all these older ladies, and I'm watching them, and I'm trying to love them, right? Some of them are just a mean, bitter old hags, you know. Damn, what the hell happened to you in life? I'm sorry I'm saying it like that, but whoa, you need some therapy, because just the way they talk with anger, they speak, their tone is with rage. But I guess it reminds me of me, right? And one lady was, I bet you didn't do this for me. And I was like, I'm not like you. I I made these beautiful honeybee labels, and I did this little honeybee logo, and I told God, maybe this is so stupid what I just did. Maybe it's so kid like. But I love what he said to me when I go, what do you think? Is it dumb? Is it dumb what I'm doing? And I heard him, and so it's honeycomb. It's a honeycomb hive, and it's full of honey, the little hexagons. And I love what he said to me. He says, Lorena, we all need a little honey in our heart. And I use the scripture, I think it's 8:13. It says that he will deliver us and give us a land of milk and honey. And it's a promise that he told Israel that he'd deliver them and give them the promise of land of milk and honey. And the way the Lord said it, it says, we all have to believe. We all have to decide to have honey on our heart to believe, to receive the promises that he has for us. And I was just like, wow. I thought it was just goofy, but damn, that's like spiritual. Land of milk and honey. We have to fill those crevices and believe in the promise that he has for us, and just believing it and having it in our hearts. So I made all these little name tags for all these ladies just because I wanted to bless them. And oh my God, um, I just hope that they kind of, I'm just praying for them to receive those blessings, you know, to believe in a promise that beyond yourself, beyond what you've experienced in your life. And so she was just, so I gave her the label, and I just looked at her, and she was being really ugly to me. And she just looked at me like, huh, you're not who I thought you were, I guess. But in that, I'm like, Lord, help me not walk in anger. Help me not be bitter. Help me not grow old in such a way that I can't even talk in a way that blesses someone. I don't know. But I'm learning from these ladies. I think, and I don't know, like I told my best friend, I don't know how long this will last or how long I'll do it. Um, I'll do it as long as it puts honey in my heart, I guess. So it's almost, well, here it's almost 12:30. Lorena, I know it's 12:30. I just wanted to tell you that I am going to the Houston Quilt Show. I'm sorry I started a live stream without, I don't know what y'all saw, because I saw all of a sudden I'm like, no, I'm just trying to figure it out. Why did it do this? And I was like complaining at it, angry at it, um, kind of like cursing at it a little bit. Um, Someone said, "Thank you, say for. I'm glad um, that you feel joy for me, because my childhood didn't have any, and I'm so glad that I have it now. I am so thankful that I have it, and I laugh at myself. You should see when I work. I work in chaos sometimes, and the other day I was filming. I was so exhausted, and I put the camera on. I'm like, there's I just. I don't want to. And but then I saw the footage, and I started laughing at myself. I'm like, gotta show it all, girl. Gotta show it all. I have been working on. Oh my God. If you're gonna make baby girl dresses, that's so sweet. Baby clothing, you could do anything. Seriously, right now you have a society that will buy handmade. When I grew up, there was no Etsy, there was no Pinterest, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook. I mean, there was none of that. There was no, there's none. You guys have such ability to make money in so many ways. And, but let me just say, whatever you do, make sure it brings you joy. If you want to do baby dresses, oh my God, just do it with a lot of joy. If if you're doing quilts, do them with a lot of joy. If you do, because if you do it with a lot of joy, okay, I did a quilt just recently, a long story quilt, and I was hearing preachings and sermons, and I was praying, and I was suffering doing that quilt. I was in anguish because I was hunched over. It was another Lone Star quilt. I was suffering. I was just like, oh my God. And then it took me 5 days to do the quilt. So it was like, there's something beautiful about long arming. You could do one quilt, especially the computerized. You put a new quilt on there and do that quilt. The next day you do another quilt, and the next day you do. So it's always like changing. And even in embroidery, one day you're doing hats, one day you're doing logos, one day you're doing jackets. One, like, it's always evolving. And I was doing this custom quilt, and I was just dying. I was just, and to go the next day upstairs to suffer and do another like quilt the star, I was just miserable. And I would come down after 4 or 5 hours of working it, my back would hurt. I would just be like on edge, frustration, like, uh, it's like a grind. And I told myself after I finished that quilt, I don't want to be working on someone's stuff like that where I'm just in misery doing it. Like, I want to do it because it brings me joy, because I'm excited, because I'm learning something new, because it just inspires me. And I did those labels for the Sweet Honeybee, and I was trying to figure out how to put the pin and little charms on it. And in the grind of that quilt, the charms, the labels were saving me because that's what brought me joy. And so anything you do, if you do it right with a right attitude and a right heart, people will come to you just because of you. And I have people come to me because they just love me. I don't think my work is that great, but I think you should see. I get excited like a little dog, like, "Hi, how you doing? How you been? Oh I love you. Ah! And they're like, oh my God, your energy, you are like hyping me up. I'm like, really? Like a dog. I get excited about people. Um, but when someone asked me just recently on Facebook if I would do another long starm quilt, and I know I could quilt it beautifully. I know I could do a beautiful job, but I'm like, I do not want to be for 5 days with that energy on me, with that frustration, with that grind, with that, here's another one, another day doing this. I honestly don't think it's healthy at all. It's not. And so, whatever you do, if you hate your job, do something on the side that you love. And then find a way to sell that what you love and try to make income out of it. And as you keep doing it, all of a sudden what you love will be what you do as you set yourself free from what you hate. And what you hate could be a lesson to you to make a decision to do what you love. When I was getting my degree, I was killing myself to get a 4.0, and I was on the grind and I wasn't sewing. I got sick. I almost died. I was like, I was 300 and something pounds, and I ended up losing 60 pounds out of nothing, out of nowhere. And the doctor says, Lorena, you're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to go into a coma. You're going to die. You need to change things. And I was like, the realization when you have like, you die tomorrow. You're going to die tomorrow. When someone says to you, you die tomorrow. My brain says, did I do what I love? And then, you know what my heart said? God, I never got to finish that quilt. Man, I never finished that quilt that I've always been wanting to do. Man, I haven't been on that long arm that I paid for, that I'm paying for, and do what I got the long arm for. And so I promised myself that was my senior year in college, that, you know what, every week you're going to sew, you're going to give yourself a day to do what you love. You could grind it out 5 days, 7 days, 6 days, but one day you're not doing the grind. And so I did school. I did college for those I was going to school 4 days, and then I was taking care of my kids, serving everybody. And the one day was my Friday where I would do a video on me sewing something. And that's how YouTube started. Doing a video forced me to get on my sewing machine because my channel was so small and I had such a sweet following. And they're like, keep going. You keep making videos. And I would get like 30 people watching my videos, 10, maybe 40 at the most. I was like, yeah, I made 40. 5. And 5 comments, please keep doing it. We love you. And every Friday I would film to sew something so that when I died, at least one day a week, I did something I love. And now, this was in 2014. And I thank the Lord for it because I finished with my degree. Hi, Roxanne. I finished with my degree, and every day, 5 days a week, I'm doing something I love. 5 days of that week, every week. I get upstairs and spend time on my long arm. I sew something, I make something, I bind something. Like, I did this. I did something I loved. I sewed this. This made me so happy. I did something I love. It doesn't even have to be big. I did something. Oh. I made one of these. Who cares? If I die, no one's going to care. No one's going to give a crap. But you know what? It made me happy when I did it. In the process of doing those videos, I did one of these. I love this thing. This was one of my first videos. I love this to this day. And this was one Friday. I spent one Friday and I made 10 of them because I had a whole bunch of leftover fabric, and I gave one away to all my clients that came to me. And it made me happy to make them, and it made me happy to share them because I did something I loved. But at the time, I only had one day to do that. And now I'm like, tomorrow, I get excited about Monday because I'm like, okay, when I did the grind with those quilt, I finished that quilt and I need to clean it and fix it and call the client, have her pick it up and have her pay me. And uh tomorrow, because that quilt is not on my long arm anymore because that was not a quilt that I loved quilting. Tomorrow, I'm so excited for the new quilt that I'm going to do for a client that's a YouTube subscriber that is the sweetest lady. She calls her long arm Jezebel. She made me laugh. She's a crack up. And I'm so excited to do something brand new and just do something I love. And I'm not to like Sundays and the weekends, I'm doing, cleaning my house, doing laundry. I have services on Sunday. I'm serving my family. I'm serving people. And I love it. You know what I mean? But God, me wearing this dumb thing, and I look at it, I go, oh, I love this thing. It's so cute. And I'm like, stupid. I love this. It has a little Tweety bird, has this dip. And it's stupid, but it's something I love making because it has a little sweet little singing bird on it, has a thread spool, has colorful, it has my favorite pins on it. Like, I'm trying to just cultivate a daily ritual of doing something I love. And sometimes I'll just sit in my front porch and pet my dogs because it's something my dogs love me. And I just want to love them. So, but there was a time, man, where it was just a grind. And so another lady asked me to do another long star quilt, and I bet if I charge her like $700, I can make money off of her. But God, that's not what I love. So like Joseph's coat, the dream that Dad had for him is so small in comparison to what God has for you. And like this, I love this cream. Stupid. Ugh. I bought these. Message me, guys. You late bloomers, message me. I'll send you one. I got 20. I'll send all of you one because I love these. I don't know. Remember I talked about these? Gotta message me on Facebook. You late bloomers. You people staying up at 12:41. Message me. I will send you one of these. My favorite $2 seam rippers. I bought 20. Seriously, I'm gonna give 20 away. It's a Peggy Sue. This is a mini seam ripper from Tooltron. I love these seam rippers. I love them. I like I think I talked to them about them at the other live stream, and I hung up the live stream. I went crazy, and I went to Tooltron, and I bought 20 seam rippers. So when I did another live stream, I could give one away to about 20 people. So message me if you want one. Message me with your address and say, I saw you on YouTube at 12 o'clock a.m. or 12 a.m. or the late. And whatever I have, whoever messages me first, I'll write your addresses down because I got 2 bags of these. But I love these. And I'm going to give you something I love. Yes, that is a special seam ripper. I love these things. I have unquilted a quilt with these. And what you love doesn't have to cost a lot. It's only $2. So I believe I got 20 of them. 20 of them. So seriously, the late show with Lorena. Please message me on Lorena's Facebook Messenger because I'll see those. YouTube, if you comment, sometimes YouTube doesn't send me your comments. So, yes, love these. But I'm sending you something I love, and they're cheap. I am at work waiting for the truck to come to unload. Oh, I'll be praying for you, strong woman. This heart. Wait, okay, where did I put this heart? You love this heart? La 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 la. I made these years ago. Look, I have a tutorial on it. It's an old one. The footage, the film quality, I was using a cheaper camera, but these are my favorite pins. I love these double-ended pins. These are, I'm talking about you all stupid stuff. These are pins from Joann's. I love them. Okay, everything I try to get, I get what I love. And love is kind of like deeply, like richly. And my version of like, if I buy more than one, I really like it. This is, if you can join, Deborah, if you can join Lorena's Quilting Facebook group, I also have a Facebook group, Lorena's Quilting Facebook group. I will give you my email there. Yeah. I would say it on here and give you my phone number, but I don't know who's on here. We could have stalkers. So it's just quilted fabric. It's just quilted fabric. Can you see it? And it has a pocket where you could hide money or candies in here. The reason I did it this way is so that there was no side seam. And so the seam is in here. Please work. Hold on. It's just a pin cushion. It's just literally scrap fabric that I made. And I got vinyl and I put like a little ribbon on it. And this becomes a pocket. But all of this literally becomes pins where you could put. And I put this in front of my machine where it hangs on the knob on my machine. And these are my scissors. And this is a tool for my needle. And these are like a little set, a different set, my favorite scissors. These are scissors that I use to cut, you know, the little corners for your half square triangles. What did I do with the lid? That's what this one is. I bought this. See, I love all this stuff. I bought this at, these you could buy at allstitch.com. It's an embroidery company that I buy my embroidery thread from. You can get a big old spool of Madeira thread for $7 there. You can also get these nippers there. These are long arm. I like them. They're for embroidery, but I use them for my long arm. These are expensive little sucker scissors. They're German scissors. They're like $30. I know it's okay. But at Superior, you could get these weird scissors where it's a seam ripper, but they're okay. They're weird. That's why I like them. They're just weird, and I like weird stuff. But I'm able to put. I'm able to put even a seam ripper in here. So when I'm sewing, all my tools are right in front of my machine. And when I'm pinning, I could just pull a pin out and then pull a pin back in. When I'm unpinning, I just shove them in there because it's in front of my machine. But I did these years ago, like years ago. I made like 10, 20 of them. I have a whole bunch of extra quilted fabric. I was going to sit down and make a whole bunch of these and then give them away. Then I decided to make a wristlet. It's just, I'm a gadgety kind of weird girl. So when I'm working and I'm making something, and it's in hand. I was going to make a video on how to make these. These are so inexpensive to make, and you could use it with scrap fabric and ribbon. So sad. But the truth is I love making stuff. So if I have, like I was tiling my daughter's house. I tiled 3 bedrooms and I was on my knees, suffering, doing a grind like that quilt that I did. And I was kind of getting frustrated and angry and just getting kind of annoyed, like when you have a bad day and it just ripples into the next day and you're trying not to have a bad temper. I literally sat one night and I made 10 of these. And at the sew group that I go to, I gave one to every old, I don't need 10 of them at all. I don't need 10 of them. They don't, you know, but it was almost like it quieted my heart, it quieted my mind. It just made me still because I made something. And then when I would put like the little bird on there and the thread spool and the flowers, and I burned my fingers a lot with the heat gun. I filmed it at the same time. The house was quiet. And then when I gave one to every lady in my group or the group that I'm at, just seeing them have joy, like it just blessed me because I don't know. I just love these. I don't know. I love making them. And I designed it. I came up with the idea and I've put my favorite pins on it but that's just I don't know. I think that's how I'm trying to live my life right now because the doctor told me you're going to die tomorrow. And at the time, I think I was dealing with depression. I wasn't where I wanted my life to be. I wasn't happy. I wasn't financially. We were struggling a lot. And I was trying to get my degree. I was trying to get myself in a better space financially. And I regretted the fact that I didn't save money when we were making a lot more money. And that was a hard lesson to learn. But that was a season for me. And so now that I'm in a different season, um, this I like who I am now better. I just feel better. And if doing this or finding these and sharing them, I don't know, it's worth it. Let me see what you guys are saying to me. Thank you, Roxanne, for loving my heart. If you love my heart, it's because you love Jesus. Because you should have seen me before I was ugly person. I was mean, bitter. Well, you want to hear one story? This is stupid. Uh, the magnetic card I sent you. Oh, I'm glad you like it. Um, I'm reading you guys, okay? I'm reading your. Um, okay, I'm just gonna read you and tell you a story. I was such a hot-tempered person. Okay, Carissa, we're here with you. I know you're working. Um, I was at a gas station, and I was probably like in my 20s. This is when I had my son. I just had my son. No, before I had my son, because I was meaner back then. Um, there was this woman, and this woman at a gas station, and I was very skinny. I was very athletic. I was really pretty, but I don't think I was a pretty person. I wasn't a pretty human. I was very physically attractive, but I was not okay. And anyway, I was at like a grocery store, like a One Star or Valero or 7-Eleven, kind of a gas station like that. And this woman was staring at me. And okay, because I was so pretty, men looked at me like food. Like they looked at me like wolves, like the wolf that the tongue goes out and looking at a hot woman. And then women looked at me with jealousy or hatred. So either way, in both genders, I was looked at ugly, either with hatred or jealous, like with lust or hatred. So I was at this gas station and I just got gas, and this woman was staring at me, and she was just staring at me. And I cussed her out. I said, "What the F are you staring at, you mother effer? Do you have a effing problem, ho?" What the hell? And the lady was probably my age at the time, like in her 50s, I'm sure, 40s, 50s. And she just looked at me and didn't say a word. Just didn't. And the weirdest thing is, she was praying for me. Because from the moment that I left that building and walked to my car, I got so peaceful. Like I had this peace I never felt in my life. I felt so quiet inside. I felt so grounded, like quiet. And okay, to this day, I know this lady prayed for me to this day. And I think of myself, how do I react if I see a version of me out there? Am I going to judge me, like the me that cussed her out? Would I judge me, or would I just pray for me? And I think right after that is when, I think I had my son at the time. I think right after that, I threw the bottle at my son and lost my crap on him. And right after that, I heard the voice. I thought you'd change, and I started going to church. But I think about this woman who just prayed for me. And I was like, wow, she just prayed for me while I cussed her out, while I lost myself at her. And I thank the Lord for her praying for me anyway. Have a wonderful day, Carissa. We'll be praying for you at work. We love you. Thank you for hanging with us at 12:58 at night here in Texas. I love you, lady. I love you. Carissa sent me a whole bundle of fabric that I cherish in a drawer because she wanted me to give it away to you guys, but I'm kind of rubbing it because it was so sweet that she sent me fabric. So I'm letting you know that the version of who you see me to be today is because someone prayed for me. So pray for someone out there. They probably need you. And I thank you. There's some of you who've been on here and watching my YouTube videos, and you've prayed for me. And so I really appreciate you. Yes, she sent me Tula fabric. Oh, she sent you Tula fabric? She sent me really pretty fabric. But yeah, I think about that lady. And I think about the fact that I'm a Christian now, and I think about the fact that I pray for people, and I that one that split second of a moment of her looking at me, and she just prayed for me. She just prayed for me. So I thank Jesus for her. Y'all message me? Let me see my phone. Let me see who's messaged me. My daughter went to sleep my daughter went to go see my daughter down the street. And she's sleeping with my granddaughter. Let me see. Who messaged me? Karen Smith messaged me. Who. Liz. Oh, no, she didn't message me. Hold on. Let me see who else messaged me. All right. Y'all can message me tomorrow. No problem. Have a wonderful night, okay? I'm sorry I kept you guys up. Tell your husbands I'm sorry. You want to see a picture of young Lorena? All right, hold on. I'll get you one. Young mean Lorena. Ugh. Let me see. I don't know. Can you see it? You see the picture? That's my son Arturo. That's one of my best friends. Her name is Samantha, and that's my husband. Yeah. I never smiled then. I used to have I don't know, just a very flat face. Joy, I will be praying for you. I really will be praying for you. Blessings and blessings and blessings for Joy. That everything turns around for you. I love you guys. I speak blessings over you. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your time. Yeah, so serious, right? The world was crashing down on this girl. Yeah, a long time ago. I love my son. Darlene, I'll be praying for your surgery. I'll be praying. I'll be praying for you. That the hands of God are helping you. Thank you, Mary. I'm glad you're okay. Thank you, Mary. I feel kind of bad because I was gonna edit a video. I was just like, I have to the camera debacle did a debacle on my filming, but um there's something I don't know when I do these live streams. They feel kind of special. I guess maybe you guys get to see just a different version of who I am. It's been a rough weekend. I'm sorry, Mary. I know what rough weekends do to you. We're going to be praying for you. It's going to be I'm going to pray for the Holy Spirit to send you a blessing, to give you wind in that sail so that you could just coast down your day and have a great day so that your weekend goes better, that the Lord turn it around for you. My hammock broke. I'm sorry, Tiffany. I'm so sorry your hammock broke. So I love you guys. I'm going to be praying for you. I'm going to stay up a little longer and keep you guys in my prayers. And I thank you for spending this time with me. And I'm sorry about the other live stream that I didn't even know I was live streaming. But honestly, this is really working because it's not kicking me off. It's not messing me up. It's just, it's working. Excuse me. I thank you. See you later, Darlene. My heart and prayers. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And Mary, you're going to have a wonderful day. I'm going to pray for the Holy Spirit to send you Holy Spirit kisses, like just blessings and things just turn around and all this stuff happen for you. Have a great day, okay, guys? Thank you for spending time with me. It's 1 o'clock and my eyes look like they're tired. Thank you for your love and your support. Thank you, darling. God bless you guys, okay? See you later. Maybe it's because everyone else is gone. Oh, God bless you, okay?